Peace, family.
Good morning.
Good morning, peoples. Good morning.
Yes.
How y'all doing today? So we psyched up in here today.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we psyched up. A lot of stuff to talk about. What I'm going to attempt to do this week is, as I talk about some of these stories, post a link so you guys can see exactly what it is that we're talking about. So, yeah. We about to get this thing cracking up in here. In the midst of our setup, we're trying to be right on at 9.
Yes, we did good though.
I think we did really good. Peace, Brother Michael. Peace, family that then came in already. Y'all, we got some stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff going on in the world. And what I'm going to attempt to do today is to post the articles to some of the things we're going to be discussing. How was your week, Dr. Strong?
My week was really, really good. A couple of things not to expand on, like deep in the cut. Just taking to some of the stuff we talked about and really reaching for, right? And holding myself accountable and knowing the difference between responsible and fault and really bringing those things into fruition in my life. And so it's been good. It's been good.
Right on.
Real good.
Peace, Danielle.
Hello,
Your traditional
Danielle.
Tuesdays is catching on. I was in a meeting and the sister told me, I work on my traditional Tuesdays. Every Tuesday I go to my state job. She worked for the state with her African attire on. You know what I mean? With the culture. So I was like, right on. Good morning, Brother Steve. How you doing, dear brother? You need to come down and talk to me. Peace, Brother Michael. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. My family took me out for my birthday, and it was so awesome. Like, you have to know my sisters; they had a lot of fun. And then Dr. Strong showed up and showed out. It was awesome. I always love good music. It was a down home, what I'm used to. Down home, laughing, people feeling good. It was absolutely incredible. 2 tidbits this morning. Yesterday, I posted a photo of a little white boy who was riding around a park in a cop car. It was a little motorized cop car, and it had the police on both sides, and then it had hunt, come play, or something like that. And in the back of the car was like a little cart that you would put on top, like a crate, and then it had like these make-believe guns that made out of stuff, And so first what he did, give y'all a little bit of background, he rode around the outside of the park where you walk at, which was great. Who cares? Kids wasn't even paying him no attention. Now the park is full. It's like 4 different events going on, a couple of baby showers, a retirement party. It was full of like black people and some brown folks, right? Mm-hmm. So the kids are playing together. I have like 8 great nieces and nephews out there playing. One of which is 2 of which were in middle school, and then the rest were younger. And so as he rode around the park, kids didn't even pay him no mind. So what he decided to do was to ride through the park where the kids were playing, which means they had to move out his way. So that's when one young man confronted him. So we sometimes call kids aggressive and they bad. But I think some of that is because they're not programmed to take people's bullshit.
Right.
And I feel like if we mold those young people right, because that young brother was in his warrior stance yesterday.
Right.
And some of us didn't understand that. We didn't understand that this brother was in a warrior stance. He was a 12-year-old young man. And so I guess then the little boy rolled his car up because he felt very threatened. Oh, you done moved on me, Steve. Are you serious? Okay, sorry. So I'm going to come back to you. So what happened was, so then the young man ran to his dad. So his dad came over. So his son is, so he came back to try to play with the kids, but they wasn't having it. So I guess they was wrestling and somebody put his ass in the headlock. And then the boy started crying. He went over to his dad. So his dad comes over like, my son is crying. It was like, yeah, they was wrestling. We called the boy, we were wrestling. He's like, because he's a little shook up. Now, mind you, his son has been riding around in a cop car. So what happened was, before they started wrestling, I forgot the key part. The little boy asked him about his car and what was he hunting.
Right.
And the little white boy said, I'm hunting animals. And he said, what kind of animals? And the young man said, monkeys. The little boy said, what kind of animals could you hunt in the park? And the little white boy said, monkeys. Okay. So then that's when the whole crying incident started. So I'm saying to myself, this young brother was in his warrior stance.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, he held his own. He was defended. But when I posted that picture, sometimes I'm just always amazed that, like, I think we have human beings and then we had androids or made up people, like people who don't have the human component in them
Right.
to,
Okay.
because one of the guys was like, well, where is his parents? That's the first thing. My first thing was the children were protected. That was my first thing. I don't really
Right.
care about the perpetrator.
Right.
I'm not into that. Let's make sure that the person who's committing the crime is protected. I don't give two boo-boos about them. So,
Right.
well, just to hear all of this, the parents,
Yeah.
I don't care about the parents. Look,
Right.
slavery is over for me. I don't have to worry about how white people are feeling, or it's my job to teach them something.
Right.
That is not my job.
Right.
A lot of black men who was walking through that park, some with their children, looked at that little boy riding, and one older gentleman looked at the car so hard that when he walked past the little boy, his head turned because he was like thinking probably the same thing we was thinking. Is he really in this park talking about he
Right.
hunting people?
Right. Yeah.
So that was one of the times I was grateful that we had a young warrior. And the young man, when I talked with him, he said, I know what hunting monkeys mean. I know he means us.
Right.
This is a young 12-year-old, more woke than some of the adults in the room, or in the place, just sitting there instead of saying, like, this is crazy.
Right.
That's how people come back and shoot up the block. And then you be like, well, but I think we got to stop babying these people at some point. This is not like considering his feelings. What would he be doing in the park? Very few white people in the park. Let me be honest with you. I think him and his parents were the only ones. And then the stuff he had a little stuffed animal dog in the front seat of the car.
Oh, so he was
It's
a
on the
canine.
picture.
He was a canine.
Yeah, somebody else said that was a canine. So I thought it was quite interesting. And
So
I'm
it's very
like,
clear.
oh, very clear.
He was very clear.
About who he was hunting.
Right.
So I don't know, y'all. I just have to clear that up. Then last night I got some information that we needed to clear up. We went and we received some information which was not totally correct, but actually was a good experience for me. So the Sikh community in Elk Grove was basically protesting, and the Elk Grove police showed up, and they were basically protesting. It's like almost like a interfaith kind of disagreement. This is the Sikh community protesting each other, but the police were involved. And I got to see an interaction with police and people that I've never seen during the protest. First of all, the Sikhs were very organized.
Right.
The men were behind the women. They were in a formation in the beginning. The women were on the mic talking about the situation. And then the women left, the children left, because then the police turned into riot gear.
Right.
And was ready. And so there they were sending the women and children away, and the men were standing. And when I hear sometimes certain people, men in our community, whatever that looks like, talk about how afraid they are, here these men could die as well, but they were dying for an honor. Because what's the
Right.
use of living in your cowardly state?
Right.
And here they were willing to die
Die
because
for-
that's what
yeah.
they believed in. So I guess that they were the Sikh, the other Sikh community, 'cause it was on the Sikhs' property. The whole thing was there. We was across the street observing from a good length. But basically, there some kind of head person came. And let me tell you something, when they let this guy come out, you'd have thought this dude was a 5-star general. There's like 20 cop cars. They were driving on the wrong side of the street. They stopped, they backed up traffic. It was really kind of incredible to see. And then the cops were not very nasty to the Sikhs. And some of them were pretty pissed off. But they treated them like if they really valued the Sikhs.
Right.
And they brought something to their community, and they were definitely organized. And when they did their chants, it almost sounded like when you see in the Middle East and you see people protesting, you hear that Allahu Akbar, but it wasn't a chant that was like a roar.
Right.
And
yes.
they weren't, and they
That was
were
like
in
the
their
video.
black suits. Some of them were in black suits, and they weren't in like no suits and bow ties. Not trying to clown. They were in gear in which they could fight in.
Right.
It was just kind of like, wow, this is deep. But it was like an opposing side. And so I learned a lot from that. And I'm like, wow. And the cops were at their distance. And I know we're going to go into, you don't have the same history as it. It don't even matter. These people are minorities. Some of them were darker than me. Let's just be honest. So, it puzzled me because I'm like, God, what is it? what kind? How did y'all do that? Because these were people who belonged to the same tradition, but they were in. I guess the guy they were hosting was a rapist and did some other stuff.
Right.
They were out there protesting, not like us. We still go to church and defend our minister or
Right.
whoever, and we don't know if it's kids in line. Evidently, some stuff happened, and they was letting it be known.
Right.
That was educational for me. I'm gonna be very honest. I feel like sometimes we be in dreamland in the book, and this is what they did in Africa in the 1400s. But this was right now in 2018, and them cops was in their riot gear, but they didn't move.
They didn't move, right.
Only time they moved is when they let the man out of the compound, because that's what it kind of looked like. And they they was in the opposite side of the goddamn street, going the
Wow.
opposite direction, getting them out of there. And the
Wow.
cars were like big, SUVs, black
Right.
tinted. I mean, it was like, wow. Like, that blew me away. So anyway, I just want to say that's what that was about. Brother Michael said children's actions will oftentimes manifest adults through their learned behaviors. I get you, Brother Michael. I mean, I understand that concept of learned behaviors, but I must be honest. If you know America, I don't know if it's so much a learned behavior as if it's just culture. There's no way in hell that we could be here in America for all of this time and experiencing the same things if we're back in 1776 or
Right.
1555 and I don't know how much is that learned behavior. When does culture when you understand that something is just culture, can we really blame adults when that's something that we learn? How
Right.
is it that we're going through the same things we went through years ago right now? Or is it that people are just afraid to call the snake a snake? Somebody put a comment and said, why do we keep trying to act like a baby snake is different from the adult snake? It's a damn snake.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if I can go along with this thing of learned behavior sometimes. I mean, hell, people have been trying to teach us how to save money. That's a learned behavior. Some of us save and some of us spend, even though we watch people save. I mean, I don't
Right.
know. I mean, I get what you're saying. I just think sometimes our children be watching us like, why is it that you can't see what I can see? And what is it about you that you accept the excuses from these people?
Right.
But that's just me. That's just my thought. But I do get the thing about learned behavior. I do. I just feel like it seems like now more times we are basically defending the perpetrator and not defending the victim.
Right.
And, I just don't, I don't know. Like, case in point, there's an article about a young girl at her school who did not like being called. This is the article, I'm going to post it. A black teen doesn't like being called the N-word,
Right.
so the high school suspended her. Now, y'all, thoughts, Dr. Camellia? I'm going to pull this article up.
Wow. What was, you know what? It doesn't even matter what the thinking is. The reality is that somehow we're going to have to dig deep and start really creating our own schools, because you can't change the way someone thinks and how they see you. Right? That's not it. If we want change, we have to change. Nothing changes until we change. And so, yeah, that's if that's their policy, that's not going to change just because the parents get mad, or because she may still have to go back. If you get her back in school, she's still going to be accosted with that.
And the funny thing is that I think black culture needs to really be looked at, because I think sometimes black culture, I think we may not even know what that really means. And black folks is not only not a monolith, but I feel like sometimes we claim shit that has nothing to do with being black.
Right.
Like derogatory terms,
Right.
We claim that like that's law for us.
Right.
If some people don't like the word, the N-word, then you shouldn't use it on them. If they say they don't like it, like, okay, I feel like that is, that says something, that when young people are trying to say to you they don't like something,
Right.
and then we act like, no, that's black culture. That's how we talk. But if I'm in the we and I don't do that, then it is not how
No,
we talk.
Right.
Like, somebody said once that do-rags is a part of black culture. I beg to differ. That's street culture.
Yes.
That ain't black culture.
That's right.
That's street culture. That's
That
something from the
is.
1940s when you had your process and you wrapped it around your head. Like, that's street culture.
Yeah.
There's a difference between street culture and black culture.
Right.
Hell, I'm gonna go as far to say there's a difference between this so-called hip hop culture and black culture.
Definitely.
I know some people like, yeah, but you know, no, I know.
No, I don't.
I was of age when the hip hop was coming in, and I had to disconnect myself as a black person because we pushed a lot of poison and bullshit concepts on us.
Right.
And they got mad when people didn't, that the youth, all youth ain't on the same dumb train. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
All of us is not on the same train.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, what is that? Why can't we protect the innocent? Why are we trying to go after the people who perpetrate? Then it makes our children feel like I'm not going to get the attention I need unless I do some stupid shit.
Right.
Because, black folks will make an excuse instead of making you be accountable.
Right.
I still think part of being a human being is that you have to have some accountability.
Definitely. Accountability. And here's the thing, accountability, responsibility, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, has nothing to do with fault. And I think Will Smith said it best, there's a lot of shit has happened, right? No, that may not necessarily be our fault, but it's damn sure our responsibility to fix how we're showing up in this world and to fix how we are interacting with our children, right? Our children are going out and if we're saying that they're being bad or they're doing all these different things, why is that? Because we're not giving them the attention or we're not interacting with them until they're doing something crazy.
Right on.
A few months ago, I watched, and I had to tell someone, like, you really need to stop that because they were playing music, everybody is dancing, and they literally forced this teenage girl. Now, granted, the man that she was being told to dance with was her grandfather or something like that, but she didn't want to do it.
Right.
But they forced her to dance with him anyway. So now, at this age of 12, 13 years old, you have already taught her that her thoughts, how she felt, her body is not her own.
Wow.
And it's little things like that that are creating this stuff, and then you're trying to blame the young people. No, the young people, like you said, have a tendency now to be more woke than some of the adults.
Yes,
and
Lord.
what is happening, they're saying like, excuse my, French or whatever, fuck you.
Right.
No, I don't like this, and I know what nigger, I know what the N word means.
I know what monkey means.
And you're not gonna call me that.
Right on. No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. I definitely think that's a conversation worth having, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's a subculture and there's black culture, and sometimes black culture feels closer to the subculture because somehow we've bought into black culture not meaning anything, and then some of us come along and back it up and say, this is why you feel like that. But what I know about people who want to make a come up in the world, they don't care what you say about them, they're going to make a come up.
Right.
And they don't give a damn what you say.
Right.
And I think sometimes we forget how powerful we are as human beings, that when we want to come up, we're going to come up. So I posted the article about the teen not like being called the N-word and the school suspended her. So I think that speaks to a lot of even just policies and the way people see us.
Right.
We think that the N-word somehow exclusively belongs to black people. It's like we've accepted it. And then get mad when people call you it and that's not what they mean. So even if it is a term of endearment in your community with an A or an ER or whatever the hell y'all want to come up with this decade,
right.
It is still like crazy. Like you will never see any other groups taking a derogatory term and trying to claim it. And yet we are the group who don't have a bunch of banks, supermarkets. There are Negroes, black people, African American, colored, whatever we call ourselves, all over the country, and we still don't have much to show for it, y'all.
Right.
But we do consume a lot.
We do.
So that's all I'm saying. I mean, I feel like you should call it whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. So it looks like but we also talk about change, and it looks like there are 18 black women in politics running for office, which I think is really great. What do you think about that?
I think it's wonderful. Because here's the thing, a lot of, some people may get upset about it, but we find that especially black women, when we start to really get in office and they stay focused, right? That's when we really see some change. That's when we see communities healed. That's when we see stuff really begin to happen, because we go in with the thought and with the concepts of healing the community and not just what it is all about me.
Right on.
right?
Right on.
And so I think it's wonderful, and it's a like a whole span of women from different communities, different backgrounds, and different things like that. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
So I guess my question for you all, does voting really impact the black community? This week on Wednesday, I'm going to have some black women from WAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action, and the Sacramento Sister Circle to talk about their voters guide, which I'm very excited. I've already voted, so to drop my ballot in the mail, because this time it's a mail-in ballot. And I'm excited. I always do my duty. Whether if I sometimes believe in things or not, I always consider my ancestors and their journey. And sometimes I
Right.
just vote out of respect for my ancestors. But do you think voting really works?
I think it does. The biggest impact is going to come from us really being consistent with it,
Right on.
because we're still fighting like hundreds of years of stuff, right? So we have to start to get consistent with it, and so that as we get consistent, that's when change begins to happen. But unfortunately, like you mentioned, when 45 came in, is that we had got so complacent with things because we thought that this particular group or this particular set of people had our best interest, and we got lazy. So we can't afford at any point in the process to get lazy, to get complacent. So when we do see good things starting to happen, it's just like when you're taking your medication.
Right on.
Like you're taking your medication, and then day 6 you feeling good, you outside, and then day 7 you don't take it. Day 8
Right on.
you don't take it.
Right on.
Day 9 you don't take it.
Right
Now
on.
you were supposed to take it for 12 days, so when day 10 comes around, you back flat on your back, and you wonder what happened.
That's
Well, you
right
didn't
on.
follow through.
That's right on, right on. So the article starts off by saying some are labeling the 2018 election cycle the year of the woman, thanks to the historical run, such as gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams in Georgia, one of the smallest stages, but equally as powerful. The U.S. House of Representatives has 18 black women on the ballot who are seeking to push America forward. The midterm elections is one to watch, with all 435 seats in the U.S. House up for grabs. Meet the 18 women who are vying for these congressional seats. So now this is the thing, it's a lot of black women, the 18 women for these congressional seats. This is very interesting because I'm watching a lot of these races because I feel like, I often sometimes wonder what both of these sides of the House do.
Right.
Why has it historically been always white men running all of the houses?
Right.
And even though we get 1 or 2 people in there, Sister Maxine and others, what is the real history and the purpose of those other houses, and why hasn't power really shifted?
That's
Like, do you have to have so much money to be in those sets? No, seriously, because I'm a vote. I'm gonna do what I got to do. But I find it
Right.
quite interesting that this sister from Massachusetts, Ayanna. I'm loving the names. Always loving the
Right.
names. Sister Ayanna is like Presley. She's running for Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. There's another sister. I think it's Johanna Hayes this is Connecticut, so it look like the Eastern Seaboard a little bit, y'all. I'm from that area. She's running
Right.
the 5th Congressional District. There's a Laura Underwood, Illinois. Illinois has a lot of, it's interesting. Because I always wonder, how does America stay in this lapse of white supremacy being so powerful? And is part of the power there? And then when you get to the seats, like I always remember, I think some of us can demystify that. Maybe that's a question I can ask on Wednesday. But I always wonder, when we had President Obama and then they had both the House and the Senate, why couldn't nothing get done? We had a black president who was a Democrat,
Right.
and we had the House in both places. And why we couldn't get anything done? Is it that racism runs in both parties?
Yes.
And at the
I
end,
think
is
so.
it?
I
Because
think
I don't
so.
know. Because black
I think
folks
so.
we usually be Democrats, whatever that means. I don't belong to any. I just vote my conscience. To be
Right.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Because as a black woman coming from families who have very humble beginnings, we were definitely not rich. We definitely were poor economically. I just didn't see how that benefited my community.
Right.
I'm just going to be very honest. My mother,
Right.
was a nurse's assistant. She also was a maid. And I just don't see how that was benefiting her. Because I feel like some of us want to be in the house with white people, but we're not liberating our people.
Right.
And I think that brings us to maybe the difference in having more black immigrants in positions, because maybe they could stand on something. Maybe we have a spiritual tie to these people. And even if you put us in these seats, it may not mean much.
Right.
And I posted the article. I'm just saying these are things in my mind as a human being. I'm pretty active in my community, but I think sometimes we don't really talk about those things that make us really be like, really, like, what does it mean to have a black congresswoman or black congressman? Like, what does that really
Right.
mean? Does it mean that their skin is beautifully colored black and they just look good in white clothes? I don't know. I just wonder what that means. Sister Danielle said the Ethiopian president has made half of the cabinet women because he said women don't have the ego and get work done. Not sure if this applies to American politics, but I think the brother's on to something. Black women have
Right.
egos just like men. Feminists can be just like men, because sometimes we're fighting for the rights to be our oppressor. That's just my thing, y'all. I
Right.
think sometimes we paint this picture where women are not like men. I mean, women give birth to men,
Right.
so we develop them in their ego. So if men have egos, somebody helped them to get there.
Right.
They cannot develop themselves. And I know that's not a very popular stance, and people, I just think for me, I don't believe in the fluff. I don't buy that shit. I don't buy that women are different than men. I don't buy it.
Right.
I don't buy that gay people are different than straight people. I don't buy it.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah.
Just never made sense to me. Danielle said, voting alone is not enough. We have to organize and continue to build power to hold officials accountable and get what we want. I
Right.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I just kind of wonder, if I look at other groups who are here and they are not in political power, but yet they have a lot of power.
Yeah.
There's an Asian town all over the United States. Serious. There's people who all over the United
Right.
States, and I don't know how much of them are voting because those
Right.
people just got here.
Right.
She also says Obama had a Republican House and Senate when he was roadblock. Yeah, but before he got that, Danielle, when he first got in, they had both of the houses, and then the midterms came.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Right.
These two Republicans, we know what they all about.
Right.
But I think from us, we just, of course, different sides of the same coin. Right on.
Right, that's
right
it.
on. I think sometimes we just got to keep it real.
Yeah.
Because we can have all the Democrats, but they don't seem like they want to help black people either.
Right.
Hell, Obama had to fight the Democrats to even get his damn nomination because they attempted to cheat him and give it to Hillary. Until the dear sister, God, I can see her face so clearly, stood up and was like, I will resign if y'all cheat this brother out of this election. She didn't say brother, she said, Mr. Obama, Senator Obama. But, God, I can see her face so clearly, can't remember her name. And that, because they were attempting to pull what they pulled on the short Jewish dude. They was going to pull that on Obama, and folks was like, And some black people was in Hillary's corner because they had been been with her in her home and thought that they had it in, and she was somehow going to be better for black people than Obama.
Wow.
Only we can love us. Yeah, if we are in the we. Sometimes
Yeah.
we look like we. I so agree with you, Steve.
Right.
But only if we believe that we are in the we. I think we have a lot of people who think we're we when it's convenient. When it comes down to getting that goddamn work done, like last night, looking at them Sikh people coming from all out the damn woodworks to stand in this battle. Some of us will be home frying chicken. And figuring out how we're gonna get this degree so we can go be with white people. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But look, check out this article, y'all. A lot of great sisters. The sister who's the mayor of Compton, she's running. That's in California. There's some sisters in Colorado. This woman is a reverend and a doctor.
Right.
For Colorado, she's running. There's another sister in Florida, Sister Yvonne, or is it Yvonne? I always want to put that Y in there, sorry. Henson, she's in Florida, she's running. There's another sister in Florida, Val, Sister Val, she's running. I'm just kind of breezing through here. There's another woman, I think she's black, she's running, she's from Georgia. There's another sister here, another Georgia sister running, Sister Tabitha, I think this is Johnson.
Yes.
And then we have, this is Jenny Lee Lake in Indiana, she's running. Then we have another sister, Brenda Jones, Michigan, she's running. Then we have, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm looking at these pictures. It's a lot of beautiful black women. They all kind of have the perfect white woman hairdo. It's okay. Lace fronts work. But I'm looking at this dear sister whose last name is Omar. Do you see that first name? There's a lot of L's in there. I feel like I'm going to mess it up. She looks like she's Somalian.
Elon.
She's absolutely
yeah.
beautiful. She has a head wrap on. She's
Right.
in Minnesota. Here we go, y'all. 5th Congressional District, and she is also running as a part of. She was elected by a Democratic Formed Labor Party. I mean, that's she's a member of those parties. I think it's like, wow, she is a Somalian American. That's very different than being an African American. I know we want to put everybody in the same boat, but we're not all in the same boat, and that's
Right.
okay. You were right, Kaya. So, okay, Brother Steve, I'm feeling you. But I look at this woman, and here she is running on with her culture. She
Right.
didn't have to conform to white people
Right.
to be with them. And so I feel like we have all of it's one thing. I think maybe because I'm getting older, I study a lot. And I was awake. I was a child of the 70s. I mean, you know, I was born in the 70s. And so I watched black people and I study us through all the decades. And I think sometimes I feel like a breath of fresh air when I see Africans coming and they're still in their culture and they
Right.
run. I think that's
Right.
what makes us different when we have other ethnic groups do it, that there may be some kind of, she's going to push for some things for her immigrant community.
Absolutely.
I don't know if African American, I think all African Americans don't really give a damn about the healthcare bill like that.
Right.
I think if you were pushing for us all to have loans and put some laws into place where they can't discriminate, which I don't know if that's possible, but I'm just saying there's something with having this sister in the race
Right.
where she's in her culture. And then we're back to an African American, Linda Coleman, and she's in North Carolina. I mean, I don't know. All your skin folks ain't your kin folks. I don't know them. I'm just saying sometimes it's so not as cut and dry. We have a Denise Dorcel Adams in North Carolina. She's running. Sister, you know, beautiful smile. Look at their pictures. There's another sister. Now, she look like she could be an African. I'm not sure. This is
Right.
Dr. Vanessa. Is it
E-
Incho? She's
Enoch?
Ohio.
Enoch?
Is it
Enoch?
Enoch? She's in Ohio. She's running for
Yeah.
office. Let me look her down here a little bit. Maybe she married to an African or something because the name looked like it could be almost
Right.
Nigerian. But she's running in Ohio. There's a sister, Erica Pearson, in Tennessee. She's running. A lot of Southerners, y'all.
Yeah.
Texas. This is Adriana Bell. She's running. There's another sister here in Virginia. See, it's like Virginia, Southern, kind of that Eastern Seaboard. So those are the ones that's in this article. Check them out. Share the article. I think that is, I think it's quite interesting, y'all, that there's so many black women are running for these
Right.
congressional seats, and I hope that they all win. I'll be very honest, because you know I feel like hell. I mean, we got white folks up there doing stuff. I guess you know, might as well give a sister a chance.
Exactly.
I feel like that. Not local races. I would love to see. That their sister Cecilia, you know, get her opportunity to
Right.
be on the school board, because I think we've never had a black woman on the school board
Right.
before.
No.
I hope Jody Johnson, young brother, I hope he gets his opportunity to be on the
Right.
school board. But I also wish in Sacramento that there would be more qualified black people running for some of our city council seats, our school boards, the SMUD board, like black women. See, I come along in the 80s and the 90s where black women were basically getting it in. And things looked a little different in those times because we were basically hemorrhaging and bleeding from the crack epidemic.
Right.
And women rose up.
Yeah.
Women rose up. And so I pray that maybe we are moving back around to that energy with women who have accountability. I'm not interested in slave-minded black women. I'm not interested in you. We've had enough of you. I'm interested in black women who really can do their duty, whatever that is, but also has some allegiance to black folks and our struggle and our needs.
Right.
Because I think
agree.
I'm so tired of seeing Negroes. I'm not interested in us integrating the picture with a goddamn black person in it. I'm not caring about that. I want people who mean something. We need that Barbara Jordan. We need
Right.
that Shirley Chisholm. I'm interested in
Yes.
that energy.
Yes.
I'm not interested in people who just want to get in the picture and show white people I can stand next to you. I don't really give a damn about that.
Right.
I want some black folks that mean something to us. I'm so
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
have,
so definitely vote. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What you say?
Colette, she says the system is corrupt. Case closed. We have no option but to build our own schools, hospitals, stores, etc. Unfortunately, power on this globe at this time is ruled by economics. Who's got the Benjamins?
Who else we got? Some more comments in there.
Then we have Vicky. She said definitely. Colette also said, if you have ever walked the halls of government in C. And Vicky says, good morning, ladies. Thanks for the knowledge. Everybody, please go vote.
Right
Yes,
on.
yes.
I believe in voting. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to convince people you know, it works. You got it. I feel like you should do whatever your duty is. I feel like I'm a continuum. I'm connected to my ancestors, so I must go vote.
Right.
I don't have the thing to say it don't work or whatever. It don't even matter. If I'm not doing my job, then it doesn't work. Then it doesn't
Right.
work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just really clear, but it's okay. I think the other thing what black people have to do in giving each other permission is give each other permission to feel like question these things. Question these things. I feel like sometimes we act like black folks don't have the right to have these hard conversations and stuff. Sometimes we be so in the imagery, we just want to just, let's show them that what we can do. Well, no, you do what you can do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You do what's right. You do what's your conscience. And I know sometimes that's hard for people, but you do your conscience. You know what I mean? I know sometimes we really, really struggle with doing one's conscience. Like we really sometimes struggle with that. And I think voting is super important, whether if you believe it or not. If you don't believe in it, then it's kind of like, that's your right, but you don't have the right to tell me I shouldn't believe in it.
Right.
And I'm just saying, see, I think sometimes that we get really confused about culture. And so to me, the African culture, and I'm saying for me because I'm an African American, I'm okay with both words. Don't get it twisted. My ancestors built this joint, so it's mine.
Right.
Okay? I know that in black culture that I belong from and in African culture, the first thing you do is that you respect your elders.
Yeah.
You respect your ancestors.
Yeah.
And far too long, I hear people talk without any respect to their life, their struggle, what they, all the stuff that they did. And just because you started off maybe with no morals, you don't get the right to say their life was not important because you're here now and you're struggling. You get the struggle because they struggled.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't really get to act like their life didn't mean nothing. You don't really get to do that. Let me just be very honest. You don't get to act like, well, ain't nobody doing nothing. People working in silos. America was built on silos. And silos know when to come together.
Right.
But my feeling like if I'm over here doing 90% of the work and you come over here with your 10, it's like, dude, you need to do some more.
Right.
Like we got to stop that mentality. Like in slavery, everybody had to pick their 200 pounds of cotton. You didn't get to show up with your 50 pounds over this person's 200.
Right.
They're like, we're going to have to whoop you. And I don't mean to say it like that, but I feel like I think some of us got this attitude, like we'll complain all day, but you really don't have a track record.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shit, I always say I'm feeling the impact of my mother's legacy and their mother's legacy. That's the legacy I'm feeling.
Right.
So now my mother didn't live to see her impact. Because real impact you don't really get to live to see.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
Right. Yeah.
You pray that as you raise your children and influence people, that as they go walk in the world, then you will see your impact.
Right.
I ain't in the bubblegum stuff.
Right.
Making sure somebody go to school once, twice, maybe a week, but you ain't there to see if they graduate. That's impact.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's it.
Being polite to them and then they get to see you act a donkey. That's impact. You feel me? And how would that come out years from now? So I just feel like sometimes in our culture, we're not always very clear on what black culture is. We always trying to make it generic, which I think is the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen. When black folks, when we started loving ourselves, there is some Negro in the wing saying, but we really do love everybody. No, I don't love everybody.
Right.
I can respect you, but I don't have to love you.
Right.
I even can respect my enemy. That he's consistent on his game.
That part.
I can respect that part.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to go to no Klan rallies and no shit like that. I
Right.
ain't donating to the Klan fund. You know what I mean? But I can respect the fact that that's how they believe.
Right.
And I don't have to lie to myself and be like, they're misinformed. No, they're very informed. I'm the product of their being informed.
Right.
I'm a descendant of an enslaved person. Which brings me to this conversation of, I guess people are very upset about this woman who's going to play Sister Harriet Tubman, and that she is not African American, that she is Nigerian. Sorry, I'm getting ready to mess the whole world. She's a Nigerian, and tensions are flaring between Black Americans and Black immigrants. Now, I don't know who really wrote this article. I read it this morning. This was a Philly article, which I love a lot of independent articles because sometimes we talk about the news spinning our stuff, but sometimes we need to have our own conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
I love Sister Harriet Tubman. I don't think all Black people are the same. Newsflash, at least for me. I do not think we're all the same. This is inside the Inquirer, by the way, the Daily News, and this is an article about who is black in America, which this always kind of cracked my ass up because you know what? When I go visit jails, I'm clear on who's black in America. Right. When I go to certain neighborhoods and people are living and other black immigrants come here and they get to float on up and do some shit, and black people who are at the bottom, I'm very clear about who's black in America. I'm very clear. So I don't necessarily need for somebody to try to mess my head up and say who's black in America. I just feel like y'all come on with that bull. Come on now. You know who's black in America. I need to know y'all thoughts on that. Should it really matter who plays Harriet Tubman? And for me, I think it matters just as much as who played Harriet Tubman as who plays Nina Simone.
Right.
Now I'm going to be very honest. Thoughts. Peace, Dr. Career. Peace, Paris. I'm sorry, I just seen some of y'all signing on here. Brother Chris, Sister Mia, Cousin Dana. Hey, cuz. Yeah. Okay, so do y'all think who matters? It's a great article. I just posted it on here. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I looked at the sister. She doesn't necessarily look like Harriet Tubman to me. And they maybe put some prosthetics on her or something. Right. I don't know. She's sitting here with blonde hair. Maybe it was for, I don't know. I don't really know. I look at the sister picture Harriet Tubman like, And then I feel like, you know, who is really, and she's a British Nigerian actress. So Harriet Tubman happened in America, not in Britain and not in Africa. Right. No disrespect. I do think that you have to be, that's why I think black folks in America who are descendants of enslaved Africans are being forced to grapple with that part of time because there's an attempt to whitewash who you are. Right. And that history, because it's painful, but it's wicked as hell. And I think there's always the case for reparations and other things because slavery was not a damn picnic. Right. And it has shifted the DNA of descendants of African Americans. Right. Our DNA has forever been altered. Forever been altered. That's a fact. That's true. So I don't know. I don't really know. Some people could make the argument, well, Denzel played Stephen Biko or whatever, I would have never known who Stephen Biko was if it wasn't for Denzel Washington because I love Denzel. But I feel like, wow, I hope that they have done another film about Stephen Biko and those Africans would have put their film together. Right. Like Shaka Zulu, I feel like maybe y'all should do films that y'all want to see rendered. I mean, I'm just saying. Right. But I think there is something very unique about the African American experience. And I don't think when black people come in from other parts that they get to be African American. They are Nigerian American. They are Ghanaian American. Right. They are, if that's what they want to do. They actually have a country that they know they directly come from. Not something that you got to go get your cheek swab and then figure out that you're only part of that anyway. Right. So I don't know. So she basically saying, thank you, Sister Danielle, because I got this article from you. You said the Nigerian actress made some negative comments about African Americans' dialect. That to me was a highly problematic. You should have a level of consciousness playing the role of Harriet Tubman. Real talk. And so was her British accent? I mean, that's not even her original language. I mean, don't get me started. Because I do love my African people, but the same dog that bit me bit them too, except for they got bit in their own house. I don't know why they didn't beat these people's ass, but for us, we were taken away. And I feel like, we've probably made a lot of strides. When you look at the African diaspora, African Americans are some of the most famous Africans are on the globe, even though most of us don't even think we're African. We're just kind of black or Negro, whatever we call us this decade. But I do think that we know that there's some things between Africans and diaspora Africans. And I'm going to even say that even the Africans in the Caribbean, there's some stuff between Caribbean Africans and African Americans. Right. I feel like I think that's why you have to look at that time of slavery, because it's going to explain why this Nigerian actress with a British accent is talking about African Americans, and there's all kind of shit going on in Nigeria, and what does she do about it? Right. Why is she in Britain? Was she kidnapped and taken there? Or did she leave Nigeria because maybe it was too corrupt and she went to England, which is super corrupt, and corrupted all the planets, the countries around the planets. But then she's going to turn around and point her fingers at black folks because you don't even know me, but you want to be me. Because all your style is our style. So, I don't see you, But I just feel like that's all a part of the argument. That's all I'm saying. And I wear my guard because I know I know who I am. But I'm the black woman, so I birthed all of y'all. And I ain't sitting up here with no damn blonde hair. No disrespect to your blonde hair. But I also know genetics. I know what's dominant and I know what's recessive. Right. I know what's original and I know what's not original.
Right.
What's a carbon? What's a mutation?
I love it
So
when you pull
I'm
those
sorry,
words
I
out.
saw you. I went on a little tangent right there, but I do think those are real conversations that we need to be
Yes.
having. And the same thing with Nina Simone. Nothing against the sister, the player, but she could never be Nina Simone. She could act her ass off, and she would never be Nina Simone.
Right.
Hell, Nina Simone had to fight against people who look like her.
Her. Yeah.
But we don't
Yes.
want to talk about that because
Right.
that could be a little bit like people's feelings would get really hurt.
Her. Right.
Because they know that even now we still practice colorism in the so-called conscious community.
Right.
They be like, well, I can't help what I look like. Well, yeah, okay. You can help the way you process yourself.
Right.
We're very clear when white
The
people
words
do it,
you
but we
speak.
struggle like hell as black people when we do it. We act like, we going to give our passage and shit. I don't know. Your thoughts on that? I'm sorry. I just kind of went in. What's your thoughts?
It's okay because I'm, like I said, I'm forever a student, so something I know when to be quiet, and I'm good
That's
with
all
that.
right.
But I totally agree, and then again, you mentioned a really valid point in all of that is that when we begin to see these things, we as African Americans, and I say we lightly, loosely, I guess I should say, but we have a tendency to always spend all our time being angry. Right? Okay, what is being mad and angry? Take those points, take those lessons from all that with that situation, and then, like you said, begin to create our own. What are you doing to fundraise to create our version of Harriet's story that is more to us, liking to us, so that you can choose and pick who plays that part.
Well, I didn't even know she was playing it. I thought they had got our dear sister who probably could feel Harriet's spirit much deeper to play her, and that's our sister.
I think I know who you're talking to. I can't even.
She played on How to Get Away with Murder, and she played Biggie Smalls' mama or somebody. Or she played in Antoine Fisher. She played in.
Good gracious.
Dang it, I can see her face so clearly, but I thought she was gonna play her, and y'all know who I'm talking about. Maybe somebody gonna put her name up here for me because I can't remember the sister's name with her beautiful self. She's supposed to be playing her. Viola Davis.
Yeah.
So she is supposed to be playing Harriet Tubman. That's what I thought. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we have to check some stuff. I wouldn't even got mad if they got the sister who played on The Walking Dead and our sister General from Black Panther to play her. I think that she's awesome. I think she would even though she's an African, and I think, I can't remember what country she's from in Africa, I think she may know a little bit about being in Harriet Tubman's skin a little bit more. I've seen her acting abilities, and I'm very impressed with her. I think she would even be better for Harriet Tubman. I think, what is this whitewashing of black history with black people playing the role? Who is making these hiring decisions? Are black folks making this decision? I don't know. I wonder with the film, who is directing this film? I don't know. And I know that she made some derogatory statements. I just think sometimes, that's why I know that black is not just black. People get mad at me. Like, we know white is distinctive, so is black. Yes. And I feel like we got to quit acting like light-skinned black people, no dark-skinned black people story. I don't know. And even with dark-skinned, the original pure-blooded black people, no, diluted, lighter people's version. And I'm using those terms because we know in the world we walk with those terms.
Right.
And even though we try to play it off, we know that that's real. When you look at black leadership, why do we always see the lighter-skinned black people in power?
Right.
And I know we were like, well, I didn't ask for it. Yeah, but it didn't stop your benefit. If there is a white privilege, there's got to be a lighter or fair skin or whatever. I'm using the term fair skin because y'all understand what that means. There has to be benefit to that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I feel like it's easy to see the lens when white people do it, but we go totally blind when it's somebody who could possibly be mixed with you or who are lighter than you. Then we go blind. We don't even know how to be like, you know what, right on, sis, let me take a seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is it? You know what I mean? Why don't darker skinned black people appear as much like in a show like Blackish and nobody in there is really clearly dark skinned? What is that about? Where's that blue black person in Blackish? Or are you just into the ish but not the black?
Well,
I don't know. That's really interesting. I just I just feel like I think that word diversity is almost like saying caca. Because we tend to clog up the system when we start talking like that. Somebody said here in this article, I'm just taking some lines, this person said that immigrants don't carry the same racial trauma as Americans, experts say. I agree with that. We know
Right.
that black people's DNA has been altered
Right.
through the event and the course of slavery. It's not like being enslaved in your African native country. You still speak your own language. You still have your own
Yeah.
culture. It is not the same. You come over here and be like, why can't y'all do this? Why can't? First of all, you ain't even with me. You don't get to come into my house and ask me why on some shit, and you a guest.
Right.
I'm like, why did you come here? Why you ain't go to your own? I can ask you a question. Why you ain't in your country? Why you ain't? You know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
don't. I mean, hell, this is America. You're supposed to come, I guess. But I just feel like sometimes we don't want to have those real conversations.
Right.
You know, is there an allegiance? You know, between the two of us? Have we got over the fact that we know we weren't just kidnapped? And that there was some purchasing going on in human life and human bodies. I know some of us love Africa so much that we do the fantasy dance. I don't never do the fantasy dance.
Right.
I don't do the fantasy dance in my own community, my own family. If something wrong, we got to put it on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't do the fantasy dance. I do think, there is some kind of, I don't know about y'all, but I know when I'm in my community with African people, from the continent, sometimes I get my feelings when they're speaking their language and they're doing what they do. I feel like, well, damn, I don't speak nothing.
Right.
I do get my feelings.
Right.
Don't mean I don't love them, but I do feel a sense of loss.
Yeah.
That was beat out of us and we didn't get a chance to do stuff.
Right.
So I don't do fantasy.
Right.
Not even a little bit. I don't do fantasy.
Yeah.
It was sold to, definitely
Yeah,
sold. I'm gonna be honest
definitely.
with you, because
Definitely.
Africans are brilliant. I give them
Yeah.
credit, but hell, it's the same reason why they have corruption now.
Right.
Shit, that's why I love the second roots a little bit more to me, because I like the fact that they show black folks in Africa in something that looked more realistic than us going out to buy a drum and then, like it was business.
Right.
It was
Yeah,
business.
it was
The same
business.
way when we talk about that crack era, we're gonna act like the crackhead, the crack dealers were just somehow had some vice around their balls and they had to go out and sell that crack to get the vice.
No.
I mean, we're gonna come up with something to whitewash their contribution to killing up our community and babies and shifting whole environments. We're gonna come up with something instead of being able to deal exactly with the truth. And I know this is a hard conversation because some of us get scared because we really think white people is really, we're gonna somehow, this looks like this unity. They already know we're not in unity. Newsflash.
Yeah.
They already know.
No.
They already know. They can tell by the way you want to go live next to them and then get mad when they bit a cross on your lawn. When you know that they don't even want you there. I've never seen Jews moving somewhere where there's a bunch of Nazi Germany people and be like, okay, I know y'all was lynchers and everything and put us in gas, chambers, but now I'm your neighbor. I've just never seen Jewish people do that.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
Y'all can help me out. If I am wrong, y'all can help me out. But I just never seen them do that before. And I get a little concerned with us as black people, how we're always wanting to do this crazy ass, psychotic, bipolar, and whatever else you can call it, dance on this subject. And I think if we're truly brothers and sisters, we should be able to have these real conversations with each other, even when it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't
When it's
know.
hard.
I'm not saying we're not sisters and brothers, because let me tell you something. When I'm teaching in my schools and I see a young lady who's fresh here from Haiti or who's fresh here, one of my schools had a lot of immigrant black kids in it, from Ghana, from South Africa. I mean, it was from all over Africa. And they cling to me even more, especially when I came dressed in culture. But they got them like, wow, I didn't really know you was there. I said, no, I'm African American. But we peoples, I got you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then they did have certain questions, but I have to say, when you know the history of what's happened to us, then you will understand your sisters and brothers that you see acting a damn fool, that you have a disagreement with, but you standing here and you're teaching me some of your culture.
Right.
So I feel like, don't be talking shit about black folks when you don't even know our story. Who else gonna survive what we've been through? That's just me. Don't get me started, girl. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Miss Jenkins. But I feel like, Dana, that was a great article. I did share it on this live. I just feel like, I think before people start trying to come for black folks, you gotta know our story. Dear sister Asia said, peace, sister. Why do Africans feel that they are more entitled than black Americans? Is it a myth or do they embrace us? So I always feel like it's Miss Jenkins. Okay, for real though, I used to love her. Talk about Miss Jenkins. I feel like it really depends. So I'm around a lot of Africans. I date African. This is all great. And some of them, what I find is that they don't really know what happened to us here.
Right.
Because I guess in their country, nobody's going to talk about it. We committed a family murder, and now
They're not gonna have a
we're not
conversation.
going to
That's
be
right.
talking about that. That's
Right.
number one.
Right.
Number two, I feel like even in Africa, they do a lot of tribalism. And I know folks get really
Yeah.
mad. We try to do this thing, Pan-Africanism. Sometimes the shit is a joke. But that's just for me. You know, we can't even do Pan-Blackism or shit.
Right.
You know, we can't even do Pan-Familyism,
Right.
you know. But I feel like even in their world, they have a lot of classism around who's
Right.
educated, who's this, who's that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are cool as hell. Some of them, like us here, who think they're better. And I was like, you can think whatever you want because it don't mean shit to me because I really
Right.
don't have to. You know, I'm very clear that all the immigrants, not just Africans, all of them are here on the backs of Africans. Because if we hadn't built this country,
Right.
none of them would be here.
Right.
None of them would be able to come up with their flag and marching down the street and be illegal as hell.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That-
You
yes.
get to do that
That-
because
because-
of my ancestors and
That's
our
right.
journey.
That's
You don't
right.
just get to come here on, you know what I mean? Y'all didn't come here in the belly of no goddamn slave ship.
Right.
No African Americans came here as an immigrant. We
Right.
came here as kidnapped people,
Right.
as
Enslaved.
prisoners of war.
Yes.
We came here, you know, none of us, you know, but I feel like it's our duty to let people know where they are. When I'm with Jewish people, 'cause I spent a lot of time with them,
Right.
all their holidays are around their suffering. Because they will never, ever, ever, ever
Forget it.
forget their ancestors and the struggle.
Right.
We get really upset about it, but then we want to hide that we were enslaved people. Because even we want to jump all the way back to Africa. But you can't perform two of the goddamn things they did. You know what I mean?
Right.
But here you are a descendant of enslaved people who in their bondage built a country that is so powerful and never got paid for it. And then
That's
other
right.
immigrants get to come here and act like somehow they're entitled to some shit they didn't build.
Right.
Because no immigrants built America, enslaved Africans built America.
That's right.
Damn
That
it,
is so
Danielle
true.
got something. You
Danielle says, some of our African brothers and sisters come here with the knowledge and respect of our culture and history, and some don't. Some come and believe the white narrative of us, others come recognizing the lie. And to make things worse, white folk prefer African over African American, so that adds more drama too.
Right on.
Right on.
Right on.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I also know
That's
that we're human beings, and at the end of the day as well, we also contribute to that.
We do, yeah.
You know, like this word exotico. Like, what the hell is an exotic? I mean, how is, you know, like, it just be different stuff. But I also know, and let's just keep it real, y'all. I would rather build something with a person who didn't know me than build something with the people that I brutalized. Because any moment they could turn on me like a wild animal and
Right.
eat my ass up, even though black folks have never done that to white people. We have
Right.
cooked these people's food. We have breastfed their children. You know, we have this. If we was really about that damn life, America wouldn't be this far. I say, yeah, I fed you, baby, and then feed their ass shit.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest. So we know black folks, I mean, but white people have a little bit paranoia going on and a little bit of memory loss or selective memory. As long as you follow white supremacy and allow me to lead and be the head and put up with my bullshit, then we'll let you exist as you know, former enslaved people, I guess, former enslaved. You
Right.
know, even though every system we have here came right out of slavery.
Slavery. Yeah,
You know,
it did.
everything, economics, the policing, education. You know, educated Negroes to me could be more dangerous than Negroes who never picked up a book. I'm gonna be very honest, because they help to hold up the system. I love it the other day when my dear brother quoted Dr. King, and then he said, y'all, we are working in a burning house. I said, well, that brother didn't just read the quote, but he internalized it. And so he's very effective in his work.
Right.
This Negro saying, we could just get to where they are, we're gonna be fine. You will never get to where they are.
Right.
Hey, the quote I put on my page the other day, which I love, basically talked about, oh shit, excuse me, y'all, I got frustrated in that little cussing comment. But basically what the quote said was, and this is by our sister Lucy Parsons, never be deceived that the rich will allow you to vote away their wealth.
Ooh.
Let me say that again. It says, never be deceived that the rich will allow you to vote away their wealth. They say something like 3% of the world, some say 5, some say 10, depending on what your belief is, that they rule all of the resources all over the planet, damn near 90% of the resources. They don't get to do that by an illusion of being fair.
Right.
They don't get to do that by making an atonement, an amendment to maybe give these people back the land we stole. That's not what the wealthy does.
Right.
Let's be honest. But what they will do is to have you follow a carrot that you think you're gaining on and you never get there. I'm always astounded and mesmerized and grateful when I can meet people who come to America and build their own.
Right.
At that Sikh temple last night, they own that property. The place is absolutely beautiful. They were on their own property having a disagreement between themselves.
Right.
The police were super respectful to these damn people.
Yeah.
I
was watching the
Yeah,
video.
that was
and I
powerful.
like,
That was better than watching a reality TV show. This
Yeah.
was a real reality that we know
Right.
nothing about.
yeah.
You know, we're always in conflict with the police. We join the police department. We become the chief. We become the dispatcher.
Right.
We become, whatever the hell it takes that we think the answer is. But when you get in those systems, you have to become the system. You ain't strong enough. This is the Matrix. You ain't strong enough. You become one of the there was the dude name on the Matrix. You become him. You turn into him immediately.
Right.
That's why when I read off those women for the Congress, I'ma love to see that Somalia sister win and she be on the Congress floor with her hair wrapped up.
Right.
I'm going to love to see that. That's going to be more impactful than 10 African-American women with long weaves and curly hairdos.
Right.
That's going to be way more impactful than that one hair wrap.
Right.
And I'm saying it because to me it represents something a little different than I want to be you, I want to look like you, I want to be you. That hasn't gotten us any damn where.
Right.
It has made us sicker. It has made us more weed smokers. It's made us more drinkers. It's made us more adulterous. It's made us it made us just turn in on ourselves. That's what it's made us do.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, whew, y'all, this is deep. Because of my ancestors, I'm always up to the fight. Like yesterday, I watched Sister Takara and Sister Tia do their West to West school, and it was packed in there. It's this African Center school they do on 2 Saturdays a month, and they got other young people in there. To me, that's impressive.
Right.
And I hope that we will come out and support those young people and not come in there with our bullshit on our knowledge. This is black. The Egyptians were black. Yeah, but I don't think nobody built the pyramids willingly.
Right.
But we don't want to talk about that shit because then it ain't good. The story don't look glorified.
Yeah.
Y'all don't get me started. I don't want to read this comment up in here, girl, because shit.
So, Asia, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Say and build in our neighborhoods and exploit us, rob us and disrespect us right near our homes. SMH, which means shake my head.
Right.
Just in case,
You see our other comment?
So, there it is. Okay, so Kanisha says exactly, and then Asia
No, there's
says,
one before her that says, I think we are humbly. You didn't get that one?
Ooh, I didn't get that.
I don't see it on yours. I'll read it. So Asia goes on to say, I think that we are humble people. That's how we got enslaved, always forgiving some damn body. Our violence is systematics for from our circumstance. And true, we are well-educated black folks. Will turn in on you in a minute. I think the voter suppression used unhibernated names, etc. for black folks, teaching them the names. Rats, LOL. Right on, sis. Right on. I should probably have my glasses on. So I'm reading like that. You know how your mom used to didn't have a glass?
Right.
I feel like Fred Sanford. I so agree with you. I think that the humbleness of black folks is a joke, though. I don't think we're humble. I think we're just selective in who we gonna fuck with.
Right.
Because you have white those Sikh last night, they was ready to go in on them cops.
Yeah.
They was ready to go in. So I think that that's another misconception, that we're all humble. We're not all humble.
Right.
Because we'll kill each other in a heartbeat. So we already know that. But I feel like that we downplay that because I really believe that some of our warriors were taken out, the last bit of the stronghold ones were taken out during the crack era. In those 90s, when our good friends, our good white folks, the Clintons, helped to put more black men behind bars than any president we've ever had in modern history, and which is why we have a lot of black males, but they're very they ain't as strong as the black men before.
Right.
They have access to more that makes them weaker. It's kind of like give them liquor, let them eat cake, all the cake they want, and then next thing you know, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like part of me is like, though I'm a peaceful person, I'm Mama Ro, I'm Mama Healing, I believe in all of that. But I also know because I'm a human being, I possess all abilities. So I could be a war goddess at the same time, you know. I could be a merciful person. I think I could be humble and I could be a hellraiser. You know what I mean? And I feel like we don't just get to act like we're one when we know we're the creators of all, and we get to be all of that shit.
All of it.
Whatever it takes.
Yes. By
You know?
any means necessary.
Yeah, so I'm right there. I got my traveling on. Please post it. Yes, definitely,
Yes,
most definitely. But I think that article was like, Danielle, thank you for posting that, because I think that is something that we definitely need to talk about as a people, because we know that some of us think and feel that.
Yeah.
You know, my question, I guess, for you all is, how do we, and this is where, like, sometimes people kind of fall off a little bit, because when you start talking about things that may require work, then people be like, the white man is gone. You know, you kind of say that under your breath, and we're not going to ever be able to beat him. So even with Sister Harriet Tubman, I don't know if other countries know what it's like to make those 19 trips back into the South, or after that, you know, open up things where black folks get to learn how to live as free people. There's a lot of things that Harriet Tubman is known for, and it's not just about freeing the enslaved people. You know, she was known, this woman was a worker for real. She was not on no damn BS. And I know that's a hard kind of thing, you know, where we like to make it be like, we're very peaceful. I often think about this one Latino elder told me this once when I was a little girl here in California, a young person. She said that we're going to take California back and America back without firing a shot. We're just going to overpopulate the place. Wow. So, you know, when you're young, you don't even know what the hell that means. But as I got older, I was like, black people's population has gone down.
Right.
Is it that we don't like having children with each other?
You know, I met with a sister friend of mine last night, and as we were finishing up the work that we were doing, we were having a conversation, and she was talking about how young black women, like mid-20s, early 30s, who are married and looking to have children, and they can't get pregnant.
What do you mean by that?
Like their fibroids and thyroid, and all that different things are messed up. And so really we start looking at, you know, how are we taking care of ourselves? Because we've gotten to the point to where it's a reality where we physically can't produce or reproduce.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I also think when you're trying to climb the ladder and take care of yourself. See, I looked at that Sikh community. There was a lot of women out there before they left. They all had children, but that's because their man was taking care of business. So I think that, and I'm a pretty overprotective about black women. I think we get put on the hook for a lot of bullshit. That other communities don't have to worry about dealing with, even though they've been at war with other people and all that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Somehow, as the black woman, if we are dealing with fibroids and all kind of other stuff, that comes from dealing with life and not having anyone to take care of us or to hold us up. And I know we don't want to talk about that, because at the same time, we'll be like, we got to protect the black man. And your daughter's sitting up here bleeding to death. But you want to talk about protecting the black man. Who, when I know that you could take care of black man, you taking care of black man. But if you take care of black woman, you take care of nations. Because we tend not to leave you hanging out there, even though you leave me hanging all the goddamn time. You know, even when black women are dating white men, I got to go in there. I'm going to be very honest. There are some of them that can be pretty snooty and think they done came up or whatever the hell that means to them. But I also know some black women who've been with white men and they ain't never stopped being black. I know a lot of black men who are with white women and they are acting like somehow they have arrived and now, you know, they just kind of shit on black women when they see them. Let's just be honest. And see, we don't even want to have that conversation. We start stumbling in the damn dark when we start talking on that. And I'm not saying, because to me, I'm going to be very honest, I think interracial people are not necessarily counted in the black number. Because I don't know how we do this. That's because white people say one drop makes you black, don't mean it makes it black for me. White people say that we were 3/5 of a human beings, and some of y'all motherfuckers bought into that, and some of us is like, y'all tripping. I know I'm the original people. You the mutation, not me.
Right.
But when you mix an original person with a mutated person, what the hell do you get? You definitely can't get a black person because black is a distinction. So what do you get? Do you get like another offshoot of like maybe a Latina or a brown man or a red man or a yellow man or a white man? Because you can't get black.
Right.
And people like talk about, well, the original man is. It be people who you clearly know is not black trying to take credit for people's shit. Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Some of us really will say like, the black people believe you have to come like a white person. No, you believe
that.
you have to come as a white. Because how do you explain Marcus Garvey? How do you explain Nat Turner? How do you explain Noah Drew Ali?
Right.
That makes your argument look like it's boo-boo.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that's not going to ever be following white people like that.
Right. Yeah.
Hell, all of us did not follow Jim Jones. Some of us did because we were weak-minded and we was probably tired of what we thought we were experiencing.
Right.
But if you really know, the history of us and them, you wouldn't follow this man to the goddamn trash can. And if you did, it's to throw his ass in there.
Right. That part.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I just feel like, and I see one in the comments, but I'm just going to be I have nieces that are pure blood black. That's not the same as being mixed.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
But you can't come. I think that's part of the argument. That's the underlying argument with Harriet Tubman and Nina Simone. These are like people who are like clearly not their story.
Right.
So you could be mixed with something, but that you can't represent all of what you are. Because you're between these two people, whatever that illusionary game is. But you can't speak for people who are pure blood. You can't do that.
Right.
Hell, I might as well ask a white person to do that. They may be fair on the situation. I don't know. What you think? Jump in there.
It's one of those things like Danielle said, is the trauma and trying to, work through all of that. And it's hard. It's hard to have those, those conversations. Because I know, like if I even take myself personally, a lot of these conversations are really a stretch, real growth, right? Because that part, I wasn't indoctrinated like that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I was born in the late 60s, and so certain things that I didn't get, right? And then I went into the military. And so all of those things play a part in how you see the world. And you have to sometimes, and again, Roa tell you, I have this, we have these conversations all the time. Sometimes, she's like, don't have the dead air. But, I have to step back and say, shit, did I play a part in that at some point?
Of course you do, because that's what you know. No,
Right.
seriously.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I would like to see some films where somebody was a mulatto and they got somebody purposely black to play that mulatto. There will be black people like, no, she don't quite fit because the person was mixed. Like, she don't have the ability to maybe play this mixed person's life out.
Right.
But we know that there's got to be something different for mixed people, whatever that is. Because if you really know science, even white people are black. But that's maybe too deep for some of y'all.
Right.
Because they came out of black people. So if I'm going to make mixed people black, I got to make white people black. In all fairness.
Right.
And I know that's hard for some people. Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean,
Right.
just so I see your comment. You said, that's not fair. I am scared for my grandchild. You're not black enough. You're not white enough. I can't see how public figures kids like Serena's daughter and Obama's children. First of all, Obama's daughters are fine. But I get what you said. I think that's in your head. I think this in between two worlds, that's a bunch of bullshit. Because I know rich black people who don't fit with black people. And who feel more comfortable around white people because at least they know who they are. And they don't have a bunch of mixed people and black people telling them that they not beautiful, they not the standard, they not. So I think that's an illusionary thing. I like to see these black worlds and white worlds. I would love to see them because I've never seen it before. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like we really, give me a break. It's kind of like we are so confused in our mentality that we really try to act like there's a black world and we ain't even got shit. That's an illusionary thing. Yeah. The white man gets to win. Yeah. Yes, blue eyes and black eye, brown, but they're recessive. They're almost mutations. Right. Please do your science. Hitler was like on some. I didn't agree with Hitler, but I knew Hitler was, basically he was on to something, and he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes.
He did not.
But he valued something because he was really into that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so if you look at genetics, blue eye, green eye, recessive.
Right.
Brown, black eye, dominant. That's some
Yes.
science. That ain't nothing I made up, sis.
Right.
And I know it gets kind of hard because you're going to sit up here and make a way for kids who are mixed, and kids who are pitch black gets no justice.
Right.
They get no value. And we know it, and then we try to throw this confusing monkey wrench in there like they don't exist in any world. Hell, most of us don't exist in any world. You don't get a pass. Like, I think that's all stuff set up by white people to keep us so confused that they get to loop the joint.
Ooh, that's deep.
Because I don't get to
Yeah.
see no white person. I'm a redhead white person. I don't even fit in here. Like, who?
Right.
Give me a break. I look at Charlie's Angels for some reason. I'm
Yeah.
still in the 70s shows. And I look at how they bigged up the blonde. Like, everything was sitting around Farrah Fawcett. And then after
Right.
she left, the other chick who came in. And then they brought in another blonde. Then they brought in the dark skin, Jacqueline. You know, she barely, you know, she was just
Yeah.
along for the ride. She was
Right.
like Mary and the Supremes. You know, she was just along for the goddamn ride. It was the
Right.
Diana Ross show.
Right.
You know, so I feel like we got to put this in some real content. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for my friends like Javon, who clearly is mixed, and then she has grandchildren, and none of them look black. But Javon is clear. She don't do I'm confused, and here
Right.
she is clearly mixed. I've seen her check other people who were mixed. Like, please don't pull that shit up in here with black folks.
Right.
We don't know what that person's feeling. So that's quit acting like, you know, black is just, you know, all of us have the same experience and blah, blah, blah.
'cause we don't.
That's a hard conversation. And I know we don't want to look at that.
Right.
I know we don't. But we'll be the main ones coddling them. And then the dark-skinned black kid over here bleeding to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and we participate in that.
Yeah.
I have friends who have so-called biracial kids and then pure blood kids, grandkids. And she said, I make sure I treat them the same. One don't get no special treatment over the other
Right.
in her world. But she's very aware of that. And I know black folks, we ain't aware of our self-hatred. You know, even so-called conscious, pro-black nationalists, you know, give me a damn break.
Right.
Y'all are some of the worst ones because y'all know some of this damn science. And you'll sit up here and play
Right.
this, you know.
Right.
You know I ain't lying. I'm not trying to be
Straight
funny.
on to-
And I work with
straight.
everybody. I do.
Straight.
But I have to let people know you don't get no special treatment. I don't think you like me. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? You don't get no special treatment from me. I don't see the white girl come in and I make sure that I don't do that. She
Right.
has to fall her ass in line with the
Right.
rest of the kids.
Right.
I be like, Big Mama, you see Danielle's coming?
Yes. So
Y'all get me talking.
I know. I love it though. Danielle says biracial people do have a privilege because they are more adjacent to whiteness. It's not that they don't face hardships similar to people of color, but black folk and darker skinned folks face hardships that they don't. Obama's biracial identity is what got him to the presidency. You won't see a Wesley Snipes looking brother
Hello.
there for a cool minute and drop the mic.
And you know what, Danielle? Let me tell you something. You said a mouthful.
Mouthful. I'm
Yo,
like-
I'm over here. If I had my fan, I'd be doing this. Because I
Yeah.
feel like we don't want to talk
Talk
about
about
that.
that.
We don't talk. And the sad part is that the Wesley Snipes looking brother will try to get the biracial person so he can keep his line alive because he don't think he's beautiful enough to have some kids with another dark woman.
Right.
We don't want to talk about that shit. Because that means we would have to take some accountability. And I know that's hard.
Yeah.
You know, our colorism. Look, I can almost deal with white supremacy quicker than I can with colorism.
Yeah.
I have to just leave black folks alone because I start getting in my whole feelings with colorism.
Yeah.
I'll cuss a Negro all the way back to the Stone Ages with that. Oh God. You know, Eridas. Yeah, but my thing is, fuck James Bond. Eridas should be some super new black person.
Yeah.
James, I mean, give them back James Bond.
Right.
Eridas, come on, we created enough. We could do our own stuff.
Yes.
We creative. We don't have to be. Again, we got to give white people back their stuff. That's why I love Black Panther. And even though Negroes is always some nigga, that ain't real. Nigga, you ain't real. Thank God. I mean, that's like saying we going for freedom. Freedom ain't real. Well, great. I'll send you a postcard when I get there.
Exactly.
You know, creating our own stuff, our own idea, our own fantasy. Even though I think Wakanda, you can render it however you like. Some people say
Right.
Haiti could be Wakanda. Wakanda. Some people say L.A., I guess. I mean,
Right.
you know, whatever could be. Wherever we
Right.
are, wherever we build. I don't care if you're in the mud hut and you make your own world. When you go home and it's
That's
your
right.
world. Because in the life, you're going to always have enemies you got to do battle with. I always have enemies to do battle
Yeah.
with all the time.
Right. Yeah.
All the time.
Because it's a mindset, I think, with Wakanda. It's a mindset. You can actually create that imagery. You can create that sense of responsibility, that love, that connection. You can create all of that in your home and then let it permeate out as you move
I
about.
think the big thing with Wakanda is, and this is where, because I think all that is beautiful, but I think you got to believe it.
Right.
Our
Yeah.
sense of belief sometimes feel like we don't really believe that we are the original people. I don't think we believe that we are dominant. I don't think we believe we are the mothers and fathers of civilization. I don't think we believe it.
Right.
I really don't. I think we come up with cliches and, you know, we do all of this talking and blah, blah, blah. But do we believe it? And to me, the belief could be as small as when every time you see a black person, speak to them, hey, bro, hey, sis. That's a
Right.
sense of belief.
Right.
You know, I don't care if his parents are saying, hey, young man, how you doing today? I speak to everybody. I make motherfuckers speak to me.
Right.
I be, hey, beautiful. You know, because everybody love a compliment. That, to me, is how you create the reality that you want.
Right.
I look at the crack era, and there were people selling crack, and they believed that they was building Wakanda for themselves, even though the shit was at the detriment of a whole race of people.
Right.
But it still is something about that belief. Belief.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oh, I
Sister
see. Right.
Asia. They're going to come out with the Yoruba superheroes. Yeah, I've seen Oya and I've seen Yemoja so far. I also saw a commercial was happening. I love these African movies on the YouTube. Yeah, I watch a lot. Sometimes they be long as hell, but they really nice. I love watching the African movies. And I like the fact Gnarlywood or whatever. I feel like we got to start with our own. I don't care if it look popcorn. I think black folks want to see black folks all the time on TV. Anybody who knows me, I have an international black movie collection. First, I started collecting all the black movies from like the 70s and the 40s and whatever,
Right.
whatever. And then I kind of stopped in part of the end of the 90s because sometimes the shit just got corny and ridiculous.
Right.
But also I have international movies, and there's a movie. Is it Sorrow? It's about it's about capoeira, but this is about a young man who has superpowers, and Exu comes and help him. It's a Brazilian movie. You can see it on YouTube. Those are all those kind of movies that, for me, I could just watch black people all day long, and I'll be happy with it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right.
If anybody come and look at my channel, besides some of the 70s stuff, I think I just be regression. But I love watching black movies. But I like watching black movies with black people. I don't want to look at people who have to figure out if they with me or not.
Right.
I think, nobody gets bothered with that. You know, even with Latinos. You know, ask an Afro-Latino if they're going to be on the Latino soap operas. Our way, and she'll be on there as a maid. But these supposed to be the people of color along with us. Why they don't show the black? There's more black people in Latin America than there are in the United States. And Brazil has the largest black population outside of Africa is Brazil.
Right.
But why are black people all over the globe constantly fighting white supremacy and then its byproduct called colorism?
Right.
That's why you can't pattern yourself after your enemy, because then you'll never win, because you're using his pattern. You get what I'm saying? You said, yo, I love it. I love Gnarlywood because dark-skinned black sisters to be the love interest. Danielle, that's what I'm talking about. You won't see this in the movies. Like, I've never seen Whoopi Goldberg be anybody's love interest. And I remember hearing her at the Essence Awards one time saying that I have to write movies where I'm the love interest, and most times they've been with white men. And we can get mad at her all the fuck we want, but I've heard a lot of black comedians talk about how ugly Whoopi Goldberg was, how thick her damn lips is, and her nappy ass head. And I've heard black comedians say shit like that.
Right.
So of course her love interest would be a white man. But she said I had to write things where I was the love interest. And the sad part is that we know that what she said is true. As much as we want to write that off, is that she don't love her black self, that's bullshit. We know what she said was true.
That's right.
We know what she said was true. I'm not saying that it's right, but I just know that it's true. You know, and when she said that, I couldn't even get mad at her. I just was like, wow. You know,
true.
I just was like, wow. That was just so deep. You see
Sabrina
here? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Mama
Sabrina.
Kosowa. Peace, Mama Kosowa.
Ashe, the best way to defeat an alien oppressor is to practice our own culture.
Right on.
Yep. We are the original people. Yes, collecting our own films, race first all day and night. Teach.
Hey, right
Yes.
on. Right on. I mean, I
I
just
agree.
feel like, wow. Danielle Wright, true black women made tours and all loud in the movies. I'm still mad about Monsters Ball. Well, I didn't care about Monster Ball because I think she fought for that role.
Yes, she did.
So we remember her for getting an Oscar for being who she was in that movie.
Right.
But hey, that's her. I still think until Angela Bassett get an Oscar, I say no black woman got that Oscar yet, except for
Right.
Hattie McDaniel, which when she got her Oscar, they cleared the place out and let her come get her Oscar. So when you see the film clip of her, you
Right.
didn't know that?
No, I did not.
That's why you can tell me there's a difference between people being biracial and people being pure blood.
Right.
Here's Hattie McDaniel, a fat black woman. Let me just be a dark-skinned black woman who played a lot of
Right.
mammies and maids. She won an Oscar for her Going with the Wind. And she was not allowed to accept that award in front of the audience. So when you see the clip, and let me tell you who taught me about this on this, who exposed this whole thing was Whoopi Goldberg. Interesting.
Wow.
She got the first supporting actress in the Oscar was Hattie McDaniel. Basically, so when you see her accepting this award, she's kind of crying and thanking the Academy or whatever. But then when they tell you the backdrop that she had to come and get that award after everybody left, you didn't know if she was crying because it's like, damn, like I couldn't even
Right.
come up here and get an award that y'all still shitting on me.
Right.
So I feel like, see, there's a difference than to have somebody at Monsters Ball and she acting like she tore the door down. For who? So we always had the door open to be a hoe or a maid.
Right.
But until Angela Bassett get one, then we, that may change the conversation. But I'd be like, bump the Oscar, bump an old man in gold.
Right.
Get your own shit,
Right.
Call it
Yeah.
I don't know, the Black Man Awards or something. I don't know. I went to the Black Power Awards. That was cool. I went for 2 years. But it's kind of like, wow. Like, I just
Yeah.
feel like, hey, that's what she bought into.
Right.
And it's too much, I don't know. I just felt, I didn't even watch Monster Ball. I heard about it. I was like, I have a thing in me that I don't support certain people. I just like, I'm not, Take Diggs. Ask me when I seen the last Take Diggs movie.
Right.
Never
Yeah.
watched him again after, I just really didn't.
Yeah.
Some Negroes just don't get my love like that. Like, they
Right.
just
I
get
agree.
the boot. They get the, catch this fade or whatever the kids say that they. I just feel like I
Right.
think we have to be a little bit more selective
Selective.
in who we are and who we let into our circles.
Right.
I'm always really concerned how we just take everybody. I didn't see the first black woman get an Oscar for a leading role. I think there's a difference between Angela Bassett and Halle Berry.
Right.
We know that they are not the same.
Right.
Angela Bassett's work is far stronger than Halle Berry's.
Right. I agree. Now that
Shit, I mean, come on. This woman
Yeah.
could be Michael Jackson's mama. She could be
Right.
Betty Shabazz.
Right.
I mean, she could be everything.
All of it.
Hell, Denzel, they gave him one, but it was for Training Day. It wasn't for Malcolm X.
Right.
It wasn't for Stephen Biko. You
Right.
know what I mean? And he took the award, but he knew what time it was.
Yeah.
Come on.
Very clear on it.
Yeah, I mean, shit, he's like one of
Very
the,
clear.
I have a lot of respect for him, but he knew what time it was.
Right. Right.
And I know that's kind of hard. I know we really be, tripping on some stuff. We really get kind of in our feelings, but y'all call it what it is.
Yes.
Like, call it what it is. That's why I'm so grateful for, now I'm going to be very honest, for those Africans that's coming over here, changing it, like Lupita.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know in the African American culture, we don't celebrate people who look like Lupita.
Right. No, we don't.
We celebrate people who look like Beyonce and Rihanna.
Yeah.
And anybody else that look like close to the white folks. We don't really
Right.
celebrate Lupita.
Right.
And people gonna get real mad.
Yeah.
Like, don't get
Yeah.
mad at people like her. And I love
Beautiful.
Grace Jones. Grace Jones is
Beautiful. Oh my
like crew
God.
cut and all.
Mm.
But we know that she would have never even, and let me just show you how deep it is. Even when she took that film, did somebody calling me? No, it ain't no mine. Yep, hold on.
Yeah.
Here we go. Even when she took that film, Boomerang, there it is back up. Sorry about that, y'all. When she took that movie, Boomerang, they made fun of her in Boomerang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they not?
They did. They did.
And we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that.
Right.
I don't know why it just did that, because we like inside the signal. I don't even know why that is. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm
So Asia, she says, I get flack for being a Muslim, not following Arab culture.
Uh-oh. All right. Sorry, y'all, about that interruption. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know what happened. But go ahead and read her comment.
I do Kwanzaa and Afrocentric programs all the time. The Nigerians wear the Afrocentric clothing. What's the problem? So even in institutional religion, those who stand up get ousted at times. No, sweetheart, that happens a lot. Not at times, most times.
All right, now.
I could,
Hey, sis, keep being
Right.
who you are. That's
Exactly.
authentically who you are. That's
Please.
their problem.
exactly.
I just feel like
Exactly.
Arab or white person, be yourself. And I feel like some of us trip off like that because we really don't love ourselves.
Right.
I don't know no other way of saying it, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's like we really just don't love
Love
ourselves.
ourselves.
And I feel like, see, I was always taught that the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah can be used as a map to your liberation or a tool to your enslavement. I learned that from Brother Khalid Muhammad,
Yes.
Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
You choose.
And I just feel like some of us, religion is a tool of enslavement.
Enslavement. Yeah.
We can't even go to the bathroom without trying to act like making it, well, in the Bible it said on the Quran, it said, you know, and it's kind of like, okay. However, that's why I love that Sister Harriet was inspired. That's why we call her the Moses of our people.
Right.
She was leading people out of bondage.
Right.
Most of us don't even understand what that means. You know, so keep doing you. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
There is religion, and then there is spirit.
Right.
Spirituality.
Right.
And religion, some people need religion. They need to be in the box. They need
Yes.
they need that.
Yes.
They need that. Some of us are spiritual. So even if we come through the Islamic door or the Christianity door or the Yoruba door, 'cause it could be the same thing in the Yoruba, the Ifa tradition of the people of the Yoruba. You know, Negroes, somebody had to make up all of this shit.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
Absolutely.
I don't
Yeah.
think Spirit came down here and wrote a damn book.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
How could he hold a pencil? I don't know. I think we
know
get
it's not.
inspired
Exactly.
in our interpretation.
Right.
And then we get dogmatic.
Dramatic. That's it.
You know, and be like, well, this is right. If you don't walk to the left, you don't walk. Dude, treat people right. How about that shit?
Right.
How about you just treat people
right.
How about you be respectful? Is there any chapter or Odu on that? You know, is there any Bible verse? I'm pretty sure there is.
There
but there's
is.
also one that says eye and eye, tooth for tooth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's all kind of things in that book because it's written by man. Not the creator or the great spirit. I even hate saying creator because it's something that implies that it's a man.
Right.
Man ain't the head of shit but itself. And women ain't the head of nothing but herself. And when we
That's
come
right.
together, we're twin halves of the same whole. And we fall into the balances that make us equal, whatever that looks like.
Right.
Whatever that looks like.
That's
But
right.
sometimes I love when the native people say the great spirit because that rocks for me.
Yeah.
I understand the concept of the
Right.
great spirit.
Right.
I can't get with that other shit because it
Right.
don't make no damn sense.
Sense.
Y'all
Right.
got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. No woman in the picture. Well, how much sense does that shit make? Y'all can't even get here without her.
Right.
Or when I look at, you know, even in Islam, some of the shit I see.
Right.
It's like, y'all, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How can you be the head of anything and you can't get nothing done without her?
That's right.
Even in the Yoruba. In the Ifa tradition of the Yoruba people of Nigeria. So, you know, it's beautiful or the Akan, but some of this shit is set tripping. Some of this stuff is man-made. And anything man-made will fail. We know that to be true.
That's true.
So, it's kind of like, y'all, we are fighting for balance. And every time religion come into play, I have to talk about balance. Because we're very much off balance. We're so off balance, it ain't even funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? We'll be protecting young men, but don't protect the women. What kind of shit is that? I'm serious.
Yeah.
You know, somebody asked me the other day, do you think women support rape culture? Hell yes.
Yeah. There are some women who do.
Not all of us. Not all of us.
Right. There are some women who do,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, yeah.
You know, I just, you know, y'all know, yeah, I know your iPad. Yeah, I think
It's
something
okay,
happened.
sis.
It's all good. Sis, no, thank you. You posed some really good questions today.
Right. Yeah.
But I just feel like, how do we deal with that? And I know, see, my thing is, I'm okay with going to, this could be the reason why people feel a certain way. I think that's great. I think we have a lot of it on the planet right now. What we don't have on the planet is people taking responsibilities. Because when you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
And I think our ancestors, nobody gave them a pass. Nobody gave them an excuse.
Right.
You know, nobody said we're going to make sure when they escape, they're going to have a wagon to ride. You know, like, y'all, come on. Like, they had to figure everything out. And I feel like, you know, we were able to create some things when we could be very honest about what's going on here. I want to jump on this other thing where they talked about 16 Black Panthers behind bars still today, which I think is really crazy as shit when we know during that time period, that was a very brutal time for Black folks.
Right.
Trying to like have their own political power. I'm trying to pull up the article right now because I definitely wanted to touch that. And that looks like, hold on y'all, copy. I wanted to touch on this really quick because I think we need to really still discuss that as well.
Right.
Like the Black Panthers who are still behind bars. And how many of y'all knew that? I didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
I didn't know how many. I didn't know how many. I knew there was some
yeah.
still behind bars. I just didn't know how many.
Right. And when you sent that article, I was like, what?
Yeah. So I guess it was highlighted at the 2016 when they had the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panthers, which was in Oakland, which alumni mark is celebrating the gathering across the country. But also the painful side of it is that there are how many former Black Panthers and allies are still languishing in American prisons. Now, to me, this is really sad because we know that during the time that they were put in jail, corruption was just off the damn chain.
Right.
And I don't know why we haven't figured that part out. So they're basically saying members of the Black Panther Party and its underground offshoot, the Black Liberation Army, or BLM, and that doesn't stand, BLM, were charged, treated, and convicted and sentenced. Some support their claims of political repression. So my thing is, I don't know how through that time period, the Black Panther Party promoted armed self-defense against rampant police brutality and anti-capitalism revolution. Does that sound like right now? Okay, their militarized stance along with the survival programs, y'all should check out the survival programs, such as free sickle cell anemia testing, attracted the attention of the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, and the president, Richard Nixon, now of that time. So y'all, listen here. We got to get a real good conversation in here. I know this is kind of hard, but we do need to look at that. They need to be out, period.
Right.
We know about that COINTELPRO. We know that that's real, and those brothers and sisters who were in there need to be out.
Right.
We know we were in a country at the time who was blatantly racist, who were blatantly against Black people having any kind of liberation. That's why I think we can't tag our stuff on to other groups. No disrespect. When we talk about gay people issues, that's not our issues.
Right.
I mean, we talking about these white gay men has advanced because they're still white men.
Right.
You know, who you are sleeping with has nothing to do with me getting a goddamn bank loan.
Right.
You feel me? We try to be whiter than white people, and we know we're not able to do that because, you know, hell, I mean, the skin color shit don't rub off. You can't dress that up. You can't just speak proper English and not be flaming or whatever the hell. It's not the same. So having people attach their issues for sexual freedom to the Black Power movement of us just being able to live.
Right.
And we've been going through this since we've been in America. There's some new shit that y'all want to have. Y'all want to do what the fuck you're white people. You'll do whatever the hell you want to do anyway.
Right.
But as Black people, we're fighting for the human right to just exist, you know, and to be who we really are. And that has always been oppressed. Yeah. There's always been people trying to tell us that we can't do this or you got to do that. Or we've always had to deal with that.
Right.
And I know people don't want to talk about it. And it's like, be who you're going to be. But I'm talking about the right to just exist. You know, I'm talking, that's why we cannot leave slavery out the picture. If I hear another so-called educated Negro talking about slavery, like, all they want to do is teach about slavery. But they ain't really teaching you about slavery, you damn idiot.
Right.
They're not telling you about the brutality that would probably, the terrorism that happened to Black people. They're not teaching you that.
Right.
So get it right. Y'all always want to skip to La La Land, but don't want to do the work in this goddamn land.
Right.
That's why I believe half of y'all cannot be your goddamn ancestors because y'all don't do no damn work.
Ooh.
So having those people in prison, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I know that isn't glamorous as standing in front of a college and just teaching some bullshit. I know that's not as glamorous. But being in the fight, those people stood up for us.
Right.
They gave us the free breakfast program. Hell, we got WIC because of the Black Panthers.
Right.
We have FQACs, federally qualified clinics, because of the Black Panthers.
Yep.
Ain't no educated Negroes in school or white people like, let's make sure these Negroes have, good health care and get some testing and all. Y'all, they wasn't thinking about us like that. Like, come on, y'all. Let's give credit to where credit is due. I got to shout out Sister Javon, because I was at a thing with her, and a white man had the audacity to stand his crazy ass up and say that the FQACs came from college intellectuals. What the damn intellectuals ever did any goddamn work? All they ever did was think with their damn brain and did shit with their hands. Wow. Let's just be honest. And I'm not dissing people. Education is great when it could work for you. Right. I always bring up Brother Jeffrey Canada. I respect, he did something with his degree from Harvard or Yale, wherever he went. He used it for the people. Right. We have too many goddamn people with degrees, some with 2 degrees, some with 10 degrees, and they ain't left shit in here.
Right.
For us. Like, if they die, we're like, oh yeah, that person had 10 degrees, but we're not exactly sure on what, because they ain't built like a biochemist library or a cafe, or they haven't really did anything that was tangible that make you want to go get the degree so you can help your people.
Yeah.
I know that shit is hard. People get in their feelings like, oh, what are you trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Shit. Quit selling wolf tickets. Do something for your community. Right. That it means something. The education is supposed to enhance you.
Yeah.
I always feel like if all the Negroes got degrees and we in worse places than we ever been, then I don't know, y'all.
Right.
Is education the new crack? I don't know.
I think so.
I know some people got degrees and they do awesome work.
Yeah.
They do awesome work. But then I know a lot of people who get it, and it's really, to take care of themselves. It ain't really about the people.
The community.
It's like, I gotta prove to white people that I gotta prove to them that I can get it in.
Right.
The hell are you talking about? Get what in? And you right on says they did stand up when no one else would in that time period, because I think we got to understand what terrorism means, not Taliban terrorism,
right?
Which we don't even know how true that is, But terrorism, if you go back, even when we got off the boat, we was terrorized,
right? Here
in slavery in America. Terrorized when you couldn't be yourself, you couldn't do anything that resembles who you were originally.
Yeah, that's terror.
Yeah,
that's terror. That's terror, destruction, stripping, all of it.
So read that article, dear family, and think about, I know our dear sister Allegra's watching. I would love to figure out, how do I reach out to people? Some of us want to do stuff, but we don't know how to do it. And let me just say this for the record, because I done finished this article. This is a really key piece. You can hear the church getting their drums ready to get it rocking up in here.
Right.
But it says Hoover's FBI have been infiltrating, spying on, and basically disturbing various political groups through the Covert Co-Intelligence Program, which is known as COINTELPRO, since its conception in 1956. Now, let me just say this. I don't know if y'all know this. They say that J. Edgar Hoover cut his teeth when he started this with Marcus Garvey. That's why you got to know your history. Right. Please don't think some shit just started with you. And when you hear Negroes talk like that, you know that their asses is crazy, because we ain't get this far on some Negroes thinking that we waiting for the Messiah.
Yeah.
Shit, everybody's the goddamn Messiah in my book. The Communist Party was the first target by the mid-1960s. Leaders and organizations classified as black nationalists were priorities. And one revealing office memo, Hoover described the Black Panther Party free breakfast program, not its guns, as the greatest threat. Now, y'all hear this? Let me say this shit again. I think I was tripping.
Hold on.
And one revealing office memo, Hoover describes the Black Panther Party's free breakfast programs, not its guns, the free breakfast program, as the greatest threat to internal security of this country. The Panthers were also on Nixon's infamous political enemies list. Now, y'all look here. You mean tell me feeding children and babies is a damn problem? Y'all, we got to go see about our heroes. We just don't get to stand up and act like, because you talk a bunch of shit, that somehow, you know, you the real deal. No, real people don't talk shit. Real people do. They ain't even have Facebook and shit
Right.
like that. They ain't even have social media, and they was out there getting it in. So I think that says a lot, y'all.
That says way a lot. And just, I mean, just I'm almost dumbfounded at the concept, the thought that you'd say that feeding our children is what's the threat. So that means they recognized the power in us doing for us making sure that we are taken care of.
Yo, it's some
There's
stuff.
a memo sent out.
There's a memo.
Bro, there was a memo. There was a memo. You guys got to get that, a memo.
So you taking care of yourself is a threat. I think so. You know why? Because that means we're still here. And every time you look at us, you're reminded of all the atrocities and the terror and all the stuff that you did to us. You get to see that when you see me. When I'm not standing up here speaking my own African language and dialect or whatever it is, you see that, hey, this is a murder I committed and the person's still walking around here.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Right.
So, of course, it would be a threat. We're trying to keep alive that which you wanted to bury.
Wow.
Now, I know I ain't kidding. Hell, that's why you got to drink plenty of water. That's a revolutionary act. This tea in here today, y'all. This is water. Drinking water is a revolutionary act. Water ain't just life, which it is, but it's also revolutionary. It's a revolutionary resource.
Right.
And you can stay alive on some water.
That's right.
Can't live without it. You see our dear
Can't.
Queen Mother Akosua?
Akosua
So in
says,
the 1960s, you get
wait a
that?
minute. I got the self-determination.
No, that's the second one. So the first one says, and I don't know why you didn't get it. I see that on your computer, but it's okay. This says Mama Kosowa right on, which is one of our queen mothers who lived that era. We was with her this summer. If you go back to the archives, you on Facebook, you'll see when she talked to my girls. She bought it. She bought the juice. I think sometimes as young people, you really think you creating something right now, but I beg to differ. You're just a continuum. You are not it. You are a part of it. You extend it. You know, that survival of who we are, that it could be a lot of things, but you have to talk. This is a woman who put in work, and she's also Dr. Akosua. So she has a doctorate, but she put in work.
Right.
That's not somebody who got it and then they want to walk around like, what we're going to do is integrate the system. That's not her.
Right.
She basically said, so in the 1960s and 1970s, the COINTELPRO program had been updated. Now, she said it's been updated since that time. Now we are dealing with black identity extremism. Hint, I seen that documentary on there. Now we are dealing with, these devils make the fact that law and the open genocide genocide order of the day. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to keep it thing. The more we study, the more we understand our political prisoners and our divine right to live healthy, safe, to live healthy, happy, safe, and a sovereign life. The terrorism is alive, and there are very few political prisoner groups. Right on, Queen Mother. Even though she's a doctor, she's my Queen Mother. Because I love, this is a woman who put it in. See, most people talk about that time, but she did some really awesome work, continues to do awesome work. She's an elder and she's still in the fight. That's why I don't let people act like people didn't do shit. It's like, maybe you don't know no elders.
Right.
But there was people who put in work out here that I get to stand here and do a radio show every week with you and Dana, and we get to talk about the issues that's happening in the black world.
Right.
That nobody wants to talk about. We get to value ourselves. We get to attempt to put our sovereign mind together.
Yes.
That means something.
Yes.
You want to read her second comment? That
and
means
so her
something.
second comment was self-determination and unity of our people is a great threat to the colonizers.
Right on. Right on. So today at WURD, I was listening to them coming in. I think it was Brother Attorney Michael Ward. I think that's who it was, because I was trying to catch his name. And he talked about that we have to be unified. We have to be in unity, but not in unification. Trying to get it right the way he said. I think that's what he said. And what he said is we could be in unity with each other. That don't mean you have to agree with basically with everything a person does.
Right.
So for instance, he spoke at mosques and synagogues and churches, and he said, I'm not any of those things. But because they're talking about fighting, to free prisoners or, health care or voting,
Right.
whatever, he said, I don't have to be them. That's their uniform, is that they are Muslim or Christian or whatever.
Right.
He said, but that's their uniform. But who we are under the uniform is what I connect to. We're black people. There's some things that we need to link arms in. If you don't agree with 90% of some of their stuff, because that's their doctrine, but this 10%, latch on to the 10%. You don't have to take the 90%.
That's it.
And I said to myself, I needed to hear that today. Because sometimes I really do. There's some things I agree with Negroes on. And then there's some things like misogyny I don't agree on.
Right.
I just don't agree with that bullshit. I think that I can't watch black men attempt to think if they be like white men, that make them men.
Right.
It does not make you a man.
That's right.
It makes you your oppressor. You know what I mean? And as a black woman, I feel oppressed by you.
Right.
And don't tell me black men can't oppress black women, because some of y'all, we ain't in the same house.
Right. Yeah.
We ain't in the same house. Because maybe you're okay with maybe your oppressiveness with your man is what you desire. I don't.
Right. That part.
And so it's like, you don't get to act like a white man and then act like that's some kind of African, and African people are, like we talk about Africa like it's a place on a corner. We talk about Africa like it's the in and out workings of Disneyland.
Right. Yeah.
Africa's a continent.
It is.
And the way they do it in West Africa, they don't do all the same thing in West Africa.
That's
Let
right.
alone East Africa, South Africa, and North Africa.
Right.
And in the middle, Central Africa. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all, we act like, hell, you can visit 25 African countries. You still ain't seen all Africa.
That's right. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I think I am maybe descendant of like a women tribe, though. I think I may be a descendant of. Because I be on some woman stuff sometimes, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You have to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a damn if people wasn't okay with it, though. You got to know me. It's not that I don't really care. It's like, I'm going to stand my ground. I don't believe in promoting abuse and act like it's culture. I don't believe in that. Not even a little bit I don't believe in it. I really don't.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping it up in these last 10 minutes. We talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry
it's
for
been
the
heavy.
little chunk of time. Yeah.
Been nice
But
and
I feel
heavy.
like
I
we
love
got to
it.
get it
Yeah,
in, though. We got to get it in.
Gotta
We got to get it in.
Gotta get it in.
I'm always interested in justice and balance. And sometimes your enemy is not always the people who you think it is.
Yes. Right.
I'm always having to learn that lesson sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
And
It's
that's a
okay.
hard lesson to learn.
It is. It is.
We talk about domestic violence. Black folks, we don't like to talk about that. Because they be like, what's going on with him that he wanted to hit you? Who does that? If you're being abused, who got time to think about your goddamn abuser?
Right.
I'm not a super Negro.
Right.
I don't do that. See, that's some stuff we learned in slavery, straight up.
Yeah.
Well, why is master feeling not good today? Why is he your master?
Right. That part.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't get me started. Damn it,
Yeah,
don't you get me.
yeah.
Talk about Miss Jenkins.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah,
Miss
so
Jenkins.
what's your wrap up word? We talked about a lot of stuff today.
A lot of stuff.
And thank all y'all who chimed on, who hung in there with
Yes.
us. This week I know we're gonna be. Well, while you give your thoughts, I'm gonna pull up what I gotta make sure we share. Who we're gonna talk about this week? But go ahead, sis.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing for me today is goes back to that word that most of us don't like, and it's called. Well, it's two of them. It's work and responsibility.
Right on.
Work and responsibility. And getting it in, don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to be the one who has to be quiet.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a firm believer in that, and really just allowing yourself to grow and to stretch, and even when we have those hard lessons of dealing with people who look like us that we find out that are not with us, I'm saying thank you, because you pushed me to do more, to do better, and to reach out so that I can be more of a benefit to my community, so that I can really create a legacy for my children, so that they will be able to pick up the baton instead of getting hit with it.
All right now.
Right.
Strong.
Because see, I have 2 male children. I have a daughter. I have 2 granddaughters. Right? And so I'm okay with taking the hits right now.
Right on.
I'm okay with stretching. I'm okay with being corrected. You know, I'm okay with stopping and, you know, some people have criticized me about some certain things. I'm okay with doing that because I know that is going to benefit my children, because I'm getting in a place where I can create a legacy. A legacy where they know to create their own. We talk about entrepreneurship in my house.
Right on.
Right? You know, we talk about what does that look like. We talk about when you've made mistakes and you go for something that you want to do, but it's a part of somebody else's dream, and because you made that mistake, it comes up behind you and they tell you no. We don't have time to wallow in their no. You create your own. That's where the responsibility comes in. That's where that accountability comes in.
Right on.
Right? We need to get with that, create our own. You talk about the other races coming and doing all. That's because they recognize that over there, but they're creating their own. So when you say no to them, it's like, all right, then no, you don't get the benefit from my gift. I'm going to go, because we got it all set up over here. And so just really, as always, standing in gratitude of being able to sit here with my sister. And, you know, I know some people looking like, man, she ain't said nothing, because I'm okay with learning.
Right on, sis.
You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with learning. I'm okay with being able to glean from those who are, you know, more versed, who got it, who can really break it down. And so do the work. We got to do the work. And we got to be okay with this whole word of responsibility and accountability. And really accountability to yourself and to what you've been given, you know, the honor to be responsible for our children, you know, for our communities. Get the work in and have those hard conversations, right? So, and the day's been deep, and I'm grateful for that deepness. I'm grateful for the fact that we've been able to really touch on some of those hard conversations today. Just, yeah.
So, y'all, as we get
I know that's a lot.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, as we get, I'm going to give a shout out, happy anniversary to Chavez and Ashley Bell. It's my nephew and his wife been married 1 year.
Yay!
Young Love. Oh. Young Love been married 1 year.
I remember when you did the pledge. For them.
That's for that engagement party. But so they've been married 1 year. Today I'm going to a wedding. So my dear niece is getting married today. But this is my niece, Brianna, is getting married with her husband today. So I'm going to be going to that after I leave here.
Yay.
And then just some real shout outs. I also want to shout out my I think about elders who have meant a lot to me, like Mama Kosowa, but also Queen Mother Hester Snyder, who was my teacher in middle school. And here is a black woman who taught me a lot. As I looked at this timeline, I'm like, wow, like there she is. Like she's a beautiful woman. Taught me a lot and really loved Miss Hester Snyder. I also want to give some shout out to people who are constantly, they did the caravan to the ancestors this weekend. And we want to give some shout out to those people remembering the ancestors. Yes. Some people, their ancestors don't mean shit to them, but my ancestors mean everything to me.
Everything.
My ancestors is how I even get to know the concept of God.
Right.
It's through my ancestors. So I'm so grateful, so grateful to my ancestors for surviving this trauma and this terrorism so that I may be here to pick up the baton and fight another day.
Right.
I'm so grateful for them. I'm also grateful for, black entrepreneurs and particularly the millennium young folks. I'm grateful that they are in this fight. I got to shout out to TNT, which is Takara and Tia, for pulling off yesterday with their team. I don't know all their names. I want to thank them too. But those were young brothers and sisters who came with the West to West Liberation School, African Center Liberation School, that y'all pulled together. And thank God that people sent their babies and their children out so that they can learn about Africa and the proudness there of Africa, and that they can walk with their head high. We know that our community is not perfect, and we have to talk about the things that hurt us and the things that will liberate us.
Right.
And sometimes hurt does help you to liberate yourself. I also want to give a shout out to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I got like a lot of birthday wishes.
Yay.
Thanks to Miss Catherine, who sent me a beautiful shawl and sent you a thank you. It was absolutely beautiful. I just wanted to shout out everybody this week on Traditional Tuesday. And also, I'm going to say happy belated birthday to our dear sister LaWanda Page. She played Esther on Sanford and Son. I watch Sanford and Son all the time. So I love this woman. So anyway, I wanted to say that as well. Also, this week, look for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, we will have Sacramento Sister Circle along with BWOPA, which stands for Black Women Organized for Political Action. They're going to talk about their voter guide and the power of your vote. So they went through some things in there. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to having Peace, Sister Christy, them come in the house and get it in. Also, on Traditional Tuesday, we will be talking with dear sister. I'm trying to find her thing. I think she's going to be talking about the power of Black women. Oh, here it is. So this Tuesday, no, that's not this Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday, 23rd. I'm sorry, October.
Yep.
We're going to have Sister Iya Oshun Yami talking about the metaphysical nature of the African woman. So y'all got to tune in with this sister. It's going to be 10 a.m. my time, noon her time. And this is, again, a part of that series, Traditional Tuesdays, Way to the Path. So Sister Iya Oshun Yami will be talking about the metaphysical nature of the Black woman. Now, you know this is going to be out of sight, because we are the what? Bomb diggity, diggity,
Yes, we are.
diggity.
Yes, we are.
So anyway, y'all, so that's what's going on this week, along with some other stuff. You know how we get it in.
Right.
Well, again, we're going to say our prayers for Sister Dana's sister, who is not doing very well. She's a little sick, so Dana's right by her sister's side. That's how it would be with my sisters.
Absolutely.
And so we want to send them some healing and loving energy, and that they are a part of our village. They are a part of our community, and we want to make sure we send them good healing vibes.
Yes.
Thank y'all for tuning in to Sunday Sitting with Sisters. I'm always urging people to get on this instrument while we still can and talk to each other across the globe. Because, y'all, we are all we got, and we need each other.
Yes.
So we don't get the right to act like, somehow my problem ain't your problem. Also, check out, there's a class that's going to be coming up. I believe it's a film, too. Talks about the history of Afro-Argentinians. And it's from colonialism to slave origins to today. So I put that link on the page because I feel like we got to learn about them too, because they are a part of our, I know as we're learning of our own, because some of us don't even know what happened to us right here, we want to jump to we are indigenous people, but I didn't come here as no indigenous person. And to this America, I'm indigenous from Africa, so I came here on a slave ship.
Right.
And I don't want that story to be erased because it makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
I know the power of my ancestors. That makes me very powerful. But I also think we should also teach our kids about their roles with massacre. So as we begin to start building our own communities, you got to know the history.
Yeah.
You got to know what happened. So that way, when they come at you again, because the system is consistent. It doesn't change up what it does. It consistently needs the same things to pull off everything it does. So we got to teach. We got to teach about the brilliancy. We got to teach about the things that didn't work so well for us. We got to be informed, y'all, because we are all that we have.
That's
Peace and blessings, y'all. We will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Hollers.
Holla.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Why did I shut that down like that? Okay,
I don't know.
get over here.
Because we're still there. Bye.